What is up, YouTube? We're back here with another tutorial. Cut my boy right here, Sean Cuts. Gonna give him a fresh ass fade. I'm gonna give him a little crop top action on top. We're gonna trim up the top, texturize it. I'm gonna walk you through on how I do all that. All right. So this is the before. He's about to get barred up. Alright, so always when you're first starting, you want to go ahead and comb through the hair. Make sure it's all laying out flat and even. And then first we're going to start off with my austere topazes. Completely closed, and we're taking it right above the C-cup. We're going to follow that all the way back. We're going to do a little drop fade. And we're just going to follow that all the way around. We're going to go back on the other side and just connect it with the back. These are my Filthy Blends mods. It's actually the Andis Master Blade on there, so they're pretty dope. I'm using a number 3 guard right here, and I'm just gonna kind of clear off some bulk. Going off the head as well. I'm not digging in or anything like that. As you can tell, I'm coming off the head. After this, we're gonna do blade open, and we're gonna go up about a ½ inch. So we just, right before this, we did blade completely closed, and now we got blade open. So when we come back to take out that line, we're just gonna have to go in between. All right, so next we're doing number 1 guard completely open, and same motion coming off the head, blending it into that 3. Pretty much here we're just trying to line up that line so that it'll be easier when we come back with our half guard. So right here I'm showing don't dig in like that. You want to come off of the head. Okay, coming off. And right here I'm just showing that his hair growth pattern is slightly coming at an angle. So when I'm fading, I gotta go at that same angle just so I can make sure I'm getting an even cut. So next we're gonna be using the 0 guard on the Andis fade system, completely open as well. And same thing, we're just pretty much trying to line up that line. Alright, so we're going off the head, and we're gonna work our way from completely open to closed. This is more of an advanced technique. I wouldn't recommend this for beginners because it's more shading compared to putting in guidelines and taking out guidelines. This is more of blending down. How I do this, I usually do like to put in, the clipper closed and then clipper halfway open, just so I know that's the last line I have to take out. And after that, I blend down. So I went, blade closed, blade open, and then I went, the 3 guard to the 1.5 guard, the 0 guard, and then I'll go back with the 2 guard and just touch up. Also here I'm just showing, using the corner of the blade, really using that part of the blade to blend, because if you're using the full blade, you're going to just put in guidelines, and it's going to be more difficult, to really get a nice transition fade. Now we're completely closed, and you could tell that the fade is pretty much done, but there are just some light spots, or dark spots, my bad. So now I'm coming in here with a 2 guard, same thing off the head, just kind of lining up those dark spots that I see. Now we got that final last line that I put in originally, and I'm going to use my Filthy Blends mod to go ahead and take that out. Pretty much all you really have to do is have the blade halfway open, and that will take out that line, but just to be safe, I start completely open, and then I just slowly work the lever down to completely closed. So I'll start completely open, halfway, and then completely closed. The next step after this is obviously just balding him out. So I'm going with my gamma trimmers, balding him out, going right below where I left off with my clipper closed, just to make sure it's nice and tight and that the fade has a nice transition. Make sure to dust off your client, and then come in with the shavers. I'm going to go ahead and show where I left off last. So around there is where I left off with the trimmer. So I'm going pretty much up to that line. Once I get there, kind of scooping out so I don't make a harsh line. And then this side of the head's done. And then we're going to just repeat the same process in the back and then on the other side. Right here, I'm just taking a section, top of his head, kind of where his head bends, you know, where the parietal ridge is. And I'm just going to do a little bit of clipper over comb, keeping it straight off the head, not pushing in, not doing anything like that, keeping that shape squared. And this will set up, you know, make it much easier when I come in with the scissor work later. As you can see, there's a little bit of dark spots right there, so I'm just going to go over with some scissor over comb and just line up those areas. This is a great technique. Usually scissor over comb is to really line up spots but not take off too much bulk. Now, you know, lining up the vertical bars. Not trying to push it in or anything like that, just trying to get a nice line, nothing too crispy or anything like that. He is a little bit lighter in those areas. And this, you know, it's going to be the same steps on the back. 3 guard first, now blade open. We're going to connect that to where we left off on the right side. The next step, 1 guard coming off the head. You guys try following along. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and give me a like for the beats. My boy Timothy, my cousin Timothy, he's been killing it with the beats, so go ahead and drop a like for him. If you want to go ahead and follow him on Instagram as well, his name's tnursey. I have him down in the description. I really enjoy fading this way. Lately I've been fading this way. I've been putting in the ball guideline, and I'll put in, you know, the blade open and then fade everything down and then just attack that bottom line. I feel like it's very simple. I don't know if it's just over experience, but it's very simple to me now, because all you have to really do is do blade about halfway open and just attack that line, bring that up, and then ball line is pretty much gone. Then after that you just follow up with your trimmer, shaver, and then got a pretty blurry fade. And just, you know, make sure to always use corners, don't dig in, and, you know, repetition is key, especially when it comes to cutting hair. You gotta always cut hair. You gotta make sure you get different hair textures, different clients, everything like that, because the more you cut, the better you will become. I've been cutting for 2.5 years now, and not until about 2.5 years to 3 years, so not about until 2 to 2.5 years of cutting is really when my fades started getting to the next level. So it takes a lot of consistency, a lot of cutting, and just be patient. Find some type of fade technique that you like and just stick to that for about 2-3 months. Really master that, even a year. Just really get that mastered, and after that you can start doing different things. You know, sometimes now when I start doing my haircuts, I start with you know, just clip over comb and then use a 1 guard and fade right into that, and then ball guideline and then fade from the ball guideline to the 1. Before I used to really put in just guidelines just to make my brain understand what I'm doing, and understanding shading and understanding what a 1 guard looks like on coarse hair, what it looks like on fine hair. And then once you do that over and over, your brain starts to understand. So now when you look at the head, you're like, oh, that's like a 1.5. Oh, that's maybe like a 2. But it's always better to, you know, always start with blade open. Start with a bigger guard always, so that you don't take off too much. And then, you know, same steps on this side, as you can tell if you're following along. Sorry, I went on a little rant there. But, you know, same steps. This side's really sped up just so you guys don't get bored watching me do the same thing. But see, as you can tell, before I even really went to the blade open with my Wahl clipper, you could tell like the line was barely there. You know, on the back you could see a little bit more because the back of the head is usually more dense. But as the side, you know, you could barely see a very faint line, and you just kind of work the corners and that line disappears. If you guys do want me to make certain videos using different fade techniques, or something you guys may be struggling with, go ahead and comment below. I'm open to new ideas. Maybe you guys want a more in-depth step-by-step tutorial, like, you know, putting the half guideline and then putting the 1 guideline and then putting the 2 and then learning how to fade that out. I could do that. If you like just seeing my techniques, I could go ahead and just keep doing that. I have a lot of different ideas I have for content coming out soon, so just be on the lookout for that. I'm going to be dropping a lot more content on YouTube. I'm really trying to grow my YouTube channel. I really want to give you guys as much value and as much information as I can, because, you know, I was like everyone else. Everyone starts in the garage, you know, beginning barber, having a whole bunch of questions or don't know what clipper to use. But all that just comes in time. You just got to trust the process. Just understand that you have your goals and know where you want to be at, you know, in the next year, in the next 2 years, and just work daily. You know, put in the work and the work will reward you. So we're just lining up this side as well. Nothing, not pushing him too back or anything like that, just making a nice line. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with enhancements just so he looks extra good, extra crispy for the day. When it comes into putting enhancements, you just mainly want to tap the trigger so the top of his vertical bar is darker, because we left that part longer. So you want to make sure that part's darker and it gets lighter as it gets to the bottom of the vertical bar, so it has a nice shade. So right here you could tell the bottom of the vertical bar is a little bit darker compared to the top. So I kind of brushed that out, and then I kind of hit the top of his vertical bar a little bit more right here, just so it has an even blend. And then always follow up with the razor after. Get it nice and crispy. I will be dropping my JJ Bearded Barber razor soon. Just waiting on the shipment, but be lookout for that. Now we're moving on to the top of the hair. Make sure to nicely saturate the hair, because you don't want some spots dry, some spots wet. Just make the cut uneven. So now I'm just looking where the bend of his head is. So I put the comb on top of his head, bent it, and that will be where my first section is. Same thing on the other side. And then now I'm just going to connect the sides to the top. Doing block graduation, keeping my finger squared to the head. I have another angle coming in right here. My boy was sweating in the chair. Look at him, he's sweating. And right here, so go ahead and just pull that down. And then you want to just cut all that excess hair. So you can see the separation from where the clip over comb was and where the top of the hair is. So we're just connecting all that, following that around the head. I did just take a hands-on course with Sharp and Dapper in Stockton, and that was just this past week. This video was recorded a while ago, so my scissor game wasn't that strong, but it's not too bad. But it's something definitely I need to work on. So that course really helped with just education and learning. So you always got to be taking education serious. You got to take continuous courses, you know, learning new things, learning from other barbers that have your strength, have your weaknesses that you can learn from them. That is their strengths. So scissor work is one of my weaknesses right now. So that's what I've been really trying to take seriously to get my scissor work really good. So right here we just took another section in the middle, 2 fingers width, and we're just following that straight back. In the front I kind of dipped it a little bit so I had more of a round shape, so it's not too heavy on the front, and just follow that all the way back, and now brushed it all to the side, and now we're going to be taking horizontal sections. So the first one was a vertical section, now we're taking horizontal sections, and you can see where the short hair is compared to the long hair, and you're just going to cut all that. Make a new section and just follow that backwards all the way until you get to the back of the head. So you pull it up and now you can see what's long and what's short, and you're just going to cut all that. And once we finish this side, we're just going to pretty much comb all the hair forward. And then we're going to just do the same thing on the other side. So you can see all the long hair. So now I'm taking another section, I'm pushing that to his left side. I'm going to do the same thing on that side. When it comes to the scissor work, it's, you know, just having clean sections, good tension, and don't go anywhere past that second knuckle. And now I'm just making sure everything's even, you know, connecting both sides together. Everything looks pretty even, just cutting whatever is excess. Come back over with some clipper of a comb, whatever I see. I kind of held the comb more at an angle that time, just have a nice transition. See right here, you can see the comb's a little bit more angled. So I'm angling that comb so I could go from short to long. And then for his bangs, we're pretty much just cutting the little flyaways, nothing too crazy. Just cutting all the excess hairs that's hanging over. And right here, this is a technique you could just pull the hairs up with both your hands and just to see if it's even. As you can tell, both sides look pretty even to me. Now I'm spraying in some sea salt spray. This is just going to give him some more extra texture, some grits feeling to his hair. And then now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit texturizing with my chunker shears, just going in there, kind of adding some texture in there. And then I'm also using the Sharp and Dapper volumizing powder. Make sure to pull the hair back and get it really in the roots so that you get that nice texture look. If you just put on the top of the hair, it won't get in the roots and won't give him that volume. We're just going to apply that throughout the hair. I'm going to go ahead and clean up his facial hair. Went from his jawbone on his chin, follow that to the sides, and then for the vertical bars, we pretty much went from the outside of his mustache right there and just brought that all the way down. And we did that for both sides. It's a good way to target, or a good way to check, you know, if it's symmetrical or not. Now we're using some texture spray, hairspray. It's not really a holding spray, it's more just texture. Just doing some little details, kind of pushing those separate hairs away. Using my styling comb, just add some more texture. Doing a little detail work with my scissors. This is just point cutting, just taking some dark spots off. And that's pretty much the cut, guys. This is just some extra detail work, you know, make sure everything's even. Always put that talc powder on the bottom of the fade where the bald guy line was. Just add some definition, some transition, and that's the cut, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's super blurry, fresh fade, good drop in the back, some texture on the top, you know, something a little different. This technique, this style is definitely coming in. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share it. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I'll see you guys on the next one, right?